there's a difference between hearing and listening.
People in the comments have been asking me for years to check out the Bose QuietComfort headphones, and I have reached out to Bose several times, but still no luck. And those of you that watch the channel a lot already know I'm a fan of Sony headphones. In fact, I've had these WH-1000 XM3 for 5 years now, and yes, I reviewed the 4 and the 5, but unfortunately I had to send those back to Sony because they were review samples. And honestly, the XM3s are so good that I've never felt the need to change them. Even now, they still sound fantastic, and the ANC is still impressive by today's standards. So anyway, finally, it's time to find out what all the fuss is about in regards to the brand new Bose QuietComfort headphones. In this video, I'm going to be unboxing the new and most premium QuietComfort headphones to date, and I'm going to run through the tech specs and the upgrades that Bose have made. These retail at £450 at the time of this video, probably about the same in dollars in the US. So these are the latest and greatest from Bose in late 2023. Bose say that these are the successor to the QC45s, and in most people's eyes, these are the successor to the QC700s as well. But judging by the picture on the box, they don't appear to be quite as elegant as the QC700s in my opinion, but maybe that will change once we get them out of the box. On the back of the box, there's a couple of things that are certainly worth mentioning. Bose doesn't emphasize anything else other than the audio, which could suggest the audio compared to the regular QuietComfort headphones will be superior here. And although they don't show it on the box, I do know that these now support immersive audio with head tracking. Also, you'll notice the Snapdragon Sound logo. This is significant, especially if you're on Android with a Qualcomm chip. For example, if you have any Samsung phone, you most likely will have a Qualcomm chip, because this means you'll be able to use the aptX adaptive codec. And I'll explain why this is so important a little later on in the video. So first out of the box is the carry case. It is a hard shell carry case and it feels very premium. It's compact, it's flat on both sides, and it's designed to protect your very expensive sound investment. And if you're wondering, this is the white smoke version of these headphones. You can also get them in black. These immediately look expensive, which is a good thing because they are. To me, they look like a more evolved and refined version of the QC45 and not so much like the QuietComfort 700s that had a very different kind of hanger here that kind of went into the ear cup. I think I kind of prefer the QC700 style, but ultimately it is the sound quality and the comfort that should be the difference here. The switch that's on one of the ear cups on the regular QuietComfort headphones is not here on the Ultras, which is nice. It helps to give the Ultras a more refined and clean look. Also, the hanger, sometimes referred to as a yoke, is made from aluminium, and so is the headband, and I really like the way that they adjust. Even the backs of the ear cups feel cold, like they're made of metal. I could be wrong though, but they do feel like they're metal. And feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Either way, the upgraded materials add to the premium feel, and it adds strength to the structure of the Ultras without compromising the weight at just 257 grams. That's approximately the same as the QuietComfort 700s. The input controls consist of a rounded multi-action button and an easy to find Bluetooth pairing button, which is also the power button. Something that's really nice about these headphones is when you put them on, it will actually tell you the power level straight away and what device is connected to, which is pretty awesome. There's also a new capacitive touch area for volume controls, and this can be used to summon your assistant as well if held down. You do have to enable this in the app though. It is a raised line on the right ear cup, and it's really easy to find without looking, and all you need to do to operate it is just slide your finger along the line for volume up and volume down. I'm definitely a fan of this. And on the left ear cup we have a USB-C charging port and an analog 2.5mm input and a little LED indicator light. Stashed away inside the carry case you will find a 2.5mm to 3.5mm audio jack and a USB-A to USB-C charging cable. You can use a C to C charging cable as well if you have one lying around. And if you're wondering about battery life, they can run for up to 24 hours with ANC and Immersive Sound off. With ANC and Immersive Sound on, it's 18 hours, Full recharge takes around 3 hours, and a 15 minutes quick charge can give you 2.5 hours of playback with ANC and immersive sound off, and 2 hours with it on. The padding on the ear cups and headband are wrapped in a leather protein, and my first impressions of the comfort are, yeah, these are very comfortable, and compared to my Sony XM3s, they're almost as soft, but not quite as soft, and that's probably because I've been rocking these headphones for 5 years, so I've certainly worn them in. I expect these will soften up over time, but straight out of the box they are comfy, but they're a little firmer than what I'm used to here, but that's to be expected. And my first impressions were they actually feel lighter than my XM3s, but actually they're not lighter. I did throw them on my very accurate kitchen scales to check, and as it turns out they're actually a couple of grams heavier than the XM3s, which is surprising, especially because they appear to be a little less chunky. The ear cups on the QuietComfort Ultra have a unique design which is not evident to the human eye. Apparently they use a proprietary tri-port acoustic structure, and I quote, which uses external ports and vents to enlarge the acoustic chamber without expanding the size of the ear cup. The result is better audio and ANC reduction from a smaller, lighter, more comfortable headphones, and that comes directly from Bose.com. And these have a unique new feature called Active Sense, which activates when in the aware mode, which is the ambient pass-through mode. Essentially what this does is if you're jogging down the street with your aware mode on because you don't want to get hit by a bus, and then suddenly a police car or an ambulance flies past with the sirens on, it won't blast you in the ears with the internal speakers because it will detect it and turn that sound down for you, so you're not getting deafened every time a police car drives past. And if you've ever experienced that with an older pair of ANC headphones, you'll know how much of a big deal that upgrade is. On the inside of the ear cups, you'll notice a fabric covering the 35mm drivers, which are angled towards your eardrums. The opening for your ears is smaller than what I'm used to on the XM3s, but my massive ears fit in there, so yours will likely fit too. And I'm not saying you've got big ears, but you know what I mean. Now, something that I find particularly interesting about the Ultras is the fact that Bose are using the same drivers from the 2019 QuietComfort 700s on their brand new headphones. I can only assume that with 4 years of R&D and experience with these particular drivers, Bose feels that they can retune them now to sound even better than before, possibly with new digital signal processing. Also, the new Bluetooth 5.3 upgrade and the addition of Snapdragon Sound aptX adaptive means that these headphones can play back 24-bit 96 kHz audio, which is better than before, and it also improves the stability, the robustness, the call quality on top of the improved sound quality. And while we're talking about that, there are in fact 10 microphones on the QuietComfort Ultras, 8 for active noise cancelling and ambient mode, and 2 for voice pickup. Okay, so right now you're hearing the voice call quality with no background noise. Now I'm going to introduce some road noise to simulate how these would sound if you're walking down a street. Okay, testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. There's some pretty loud background noise right next to me now, so let me know how this sounds. And now let's take it up another level and introduce some wind. And a quick shout out to the Qualcomm Snapdragon Insiders. Thank you, Qualcomm, for sending me this fan. This has been very useful for my mic tests. So now I've got wind rushing directly at my face. I've also got the road noise playing in the background. Let me know how these headphones are holding up with all these distractions. And that concludes the mic test. Welcome to the ANC test. What you're hearing right now is my voice coming through the aware mode on the headphones. I'm pushing down on the back of the ear cup to create a good seal here on the table. So you're getting passive noise cancelling, and it's using the exterior mics to feed my voice in and to the microphone here. And now let's introduce some road noise. So right now you can hear my voice with the aware mode, and you can also hear the road noise. And when I go into the aware mode and activate Active Sense, what you will notice is it's actually dulling down that background noise quite a bit, and it's doing it on the fly, adapting to what's going on around the headphones. Now's the moment of truth, the quiet mode. So this is the quiet quiet mode. I don't know if you can hear me at all anymore. It'll be interesting to hear your response to this ANC test. Keep in mind I'm literally within 30 centimeters of the speaker that's playing the noise. Now this next mode, the immersive mode, is an interesting one because it turns on the immersive sound and ANC at the same time. So it should sound pretty similar to the quiet mode. Let me get the noise going again. This is the immersive mode. Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now here's another new feature on the Bose QuietComfort Ultra, and it can only be accessed when creating your own mode within the app. It is called the wind block. So I've set this up in the jogging mode. This feature disables a couple of the exterior mics when in noise cancelling mode, so that the mics don't pick up that horrible wind noise and then relay it inside the headphones, creating all kinds of distortion and completely ruining your audio. So you'll experience slightly less noise cancellation, but way less noise as well, so that's a good thing. And in order to set it up, all you would do is hit the plus here, create a new mode, and then tick this box for wind block. Anyway, let's test it out and see how good it is. Well, that seemed to work surprisingly well. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments. Anyway, let's move on. All right, so now it's time to see what the Bose Music App brings to the table. So when you first open the Bose Music App, you'll have your home screen. Here you can add other Bose devices that you might have in your house, and you'll see the Bose QuietComfort headphones here. When you tap on that, you'll see the current battery level and also the volume. And in comparison to what I'm used to with my Sony headphones, this is very minimalistic in design, and I can see why some people would like this. It just looks very easy to use. You have your modes, and there are 3 modes by default, and you can create your own as I showed you earlier on. And if you don't want any of these particular modes, you can just hit the star next to them, and that will actually keep them on the app, but make them not available here on the headphones when you're toggling through. Then there's the EQ. By default, it's on a flat EQ. I'm assuming this is going to be dialed in with Bose's signature sound by default, but you do get 4 presets, so you can adjust the bass, the mids and the treble, or you could even reduce the treble. But what's great about this EQ is if you add an effect and you feel actually I do want a bit more mids or I do want a bit more treble, you can adjust those on top of the presets. It's not the most advanced equalizer I've ever seen, but there are controls here, so that's a good thing. Then there's the shortcut that I mentioned earlier, where you can actually use the volume slider on the headphones, touch and hold it to activate a shortcut, and you can remap that to a few different things. I've got it set as my voice assistant right now, but you could set it to the immersive audio mode, or hear the battery level, or even Spotify Connect. Then you have the source. So this will show all of your connected Bluetooth devices, and here you can enable the multi-point connection as well, or switch it off. You can have up to 8 devices saved here, and you can turn off the switches and turn on the switches on the ones that you do want to stay connected to. So it's pretty cool they've added this here. It's a nice, easy user interface. And something that I mentioned earlier that I feel I should mention again, because it is truly an awesome feature, is that when you put the headphones on, it will say in words what device is connected to. And the reason I think this is so awesome is because several times I've turned on headphones in this room and it's connected to just a random phone or device in the room, and it takes me a while to figure out which one it is, and then I have to go to the Bluetooth settings and have a look at which one it is, find the device, and then disconnect it so I can reconnect it to something else. This feature solves that problem. Now here's another new feature that you will get if you spend the extra money on the Ultras. It is immersive audio, sometimes known as spatial audio, sometimes known as 360 reality audio. They're kind of all the same thing, and the Bose QuietComfort Ultras do have this. So if you go into the immersive audio, you have 3 options. You can switch it off, you can lock it in front of you, so if you turn your head, the sound will be to the side of your head, or you can have motion. This is where it will track your head and always stay in front of you. It kind of creates an audio bubble around your head, so it feels like sound is coming from in front, from behind, passing by your ears. It really is pretty incredible, and it works the best when listening to tracks that are encoded with proper spatial audio data, but it also applies the effect to regular tracks as well, which still sounds good, but not quite as good as the proper ones. For example, this track right here, you see 360 reality audio underneath it. If you're playing on Apple Music, it will be in the spatial audio section. Okay, so now it's time for me to tell you what I think of the sound quality. And as usual, I've tested these with my very random headphones playlist on Tidal, which is full of a bunch of different genres. And I did initially test them on the flat profile and then added a few tweaks according to whatever I felt it needed for each genre. And I'm also testing these with a Snapdragon device. So that means I get the aptX adaptive with the full quality 24-bit 96 kilohertz through the aptX adaptive codec. Okay, first up is a kind of orchestral opera type track. There's female vocals here and male vocals, and of course a full orchestra. And the female vocals are well contained. They're not overly ear piercing, which they can be in some headphones. And these headphones contain them really well, and her voice is very clear. The soundstage is fantastic, even without the immersive audio on. And it does elevate when you switch it on. You can truly hear the orchestra's depth and distance in this particular track. And the male vocals sound clear and powerful. I did, however, go in and boost the mids a little bit, and it did improve the sound in my opinion. I just love the way that it's very easy to do. And even when you boost the mids, the details still remain in music, so that's fantastic. Now, when you run more modern music through the ultras, they truly shine. The clarity in the mids and the highs is really nice, and the bass is actually really nice too. It's not overpowering. Even on the flat profile, I do think it's going to be enough for most people. But when you go in and actually boost up the bass using the bass boost preset, it definitely goes up a level, and you can even turn it up to 10 here if you want to. And it doesn't ruin the mid-range, which is fantastic. They're not the bassiest headphones I've ever heard, but they're going to be more than enough for most people. Now, for live music, the default EQ is almost perfect. I did kind of want to go in and raise the mids and the highs just a little bit, but you really don't have to. And what really stands out to me about this particular genre of music, which is kind of grunge rock, but recorded live, is the details of all the instruments are really, really clear. You can hear the audience, you can hear the breaths in between the vocals. And even when you turn the volume up to maximum, the audio doesn't fall apart. So that's really impressed me here. Of course, I had to run some reggae through these headphones, and I have to say the flat EQ is fantastic for it, although I did boost up the bass because I felt it needed it a little bit. But I can tell you, these sound fantastic here. Again, you can sometimes get a bit of sharpness in the audio with the drums and the instruments they use in this kind of music, but you don't really get that here. It feels like these headphones really contain all of the sound nicely. They actually sound incredible, to be honest. And for rock, they're well suited. You can turn it up to 11 and retain the detail. There's no piercing sounds, no fatiguing noises. The audio is so well balanced that it doesn't feel uncomfortable even when listening for longer periods of time. So now I've tested these QuietComfort headphones, I totally see why people love them so much. The audio quality is top notch. It's hard to fault them. And even though the EQ is quite basic in appearance, it actually provides enough control for pretty much anybody to dial in the correct sound if they want to. But most of the time you don't have to, because the flat profile sounds so good. I feel like Bose have gone with the Apple approach to the app, giving you just enough control, but not so much control that you can mess things up. And there's a lot of people out there who will love that about these headphones and the software. The design of the Ultras is classy and it's well built. The carry case is equally as premium. And like the name would suggest, quiet, they certainly are when in quiet mode. They are some of the best noise cancelling headphones that I've tried. Earlier on today when I was playing music and walking around the house, I was talking to the dog and I couldn't even hear myself talking. That's how good the noise cancelling is. And as for comfort, yes, these are very comfortable and very good in that department too. So they certainly live up to the name. My advice to you if you're thinking about buying these is you've got to ask yourself a couple of questions. Is the extra money worth the new features? For example, the upgraded Bluetooth connections with aptX adaptive. Is the more premium build quality worth it to you? And will you make use of the immersive audio feature? Because it is going to cost you around 80 to 100 pounds more than the regular QuietComfort headphones. And if you believe so, then like Jean-Luc Picard says, you might as well make it so.
make it so.
And if you use the affiliate link below this video, you will be supporting the channel. And if you just subscribe, this will be my face.